Summer is here, so here are 10 things you need to know about running or walking in warm weather. Hello fellow geeks and welcome back to Running Geek Girl. My name is Heather and I am glad you are here today. Now, as I mentioned, it is summer here in the Northern Hemisphere, and so more people who are going to be participating, especially in fall marathons and races, are going to still be out there running throughout the summer. But we need to talk about 10 things you need to know if you are continuing to train outdoors as the temperatures are going up. Here we go. Number 1, allow yourself time to adjust to the heat. On average, you need to give yourself around 2 weeks to adjust to running in warmer temperatures. And during this, do easy base runs at a relaxed pace. Focus on your effort level more than your running times and your speed. The important thing is that you need to find a way to stay consistent with your training, even if the heat has to force you indoors to the treadmill. You need to avoid a lot of your speed workouts and your fast-paced runs on the really hot days. Focus more on some relaxed pace-based miles instead, and save your speed workouts or your really long runs for cooler days, or just move over to the treadmill. The important thing is to remember to be flexible during this period. Be willing to adjust for the heat. A lot of runners will get really frustrated because your paces, you'll find, will slow down, but that is normal given how warm it is outside. You just run slower than usual in the heat. Now, according to Runner's World magazine, for every 5-degree rise in temperature above 60 degrees, your running pace is going to slow by as much as 20 to 30 seconds per mile. So don't be discouraged. Those paces will pick back up once the weather starts to cool down. Number 2, be sure to check the humidity. Humidity makes a big difference in how hot you get while you are running. If the humidity is high, then it keeps sweat from evaporating off your skin, which is how your body naturally tries to cool down. If it can't do that, it leads to overheating of your brain and organs. When humidity is above 40%, it makes the heat feel a lot more intense, and it impedes your body's ability to cool itself down. So when you check the weather, make sure that you are also looking at the heat index, which accounts for the temperature and humidity. So it's going to tell you not just what the temperature is outside, but how hot it is going to feel outside. If the humidity is high and the temperature is high, you may consider working out inside. And if you do run outdoors, go slow, stay in the shade, bring plenty of water with electrolytes. Number 3, plan ahead. Make sure that you pre-hydrate before you run by drinking around 16 ounces of water about 2 hours before your run, and this is a good time for you to have a meal or a snack. 15 minutes before you run, drink another 6 to 8 ounces of water, and make sure that you are bringing hydration as you run. Now, people are going to sweat at different amounts, and the amount of heat that you're dealing with is going to vary depending on where you live, so make sure you are listening to your body and drinking when you get thirsty. A good basic hydration guideline for running in the heat is around 4 to 6 ounces every 20 minutes. Also, make sure you choose your clothing the day before you go for a run. Look for lightweight, loose clothing, something that is synthetic and moisture wicking, such as polyester or nylon. You're going to want to stay away from cotton, which is just going to absorb your sweat. Remember that lighter colors will absorb less heat and darker colors absorb more heat. So when you can, opt for lighter colors. And have an idea of where you're going to be running, as well as any shortcuts you could possibly take if you need to cut your workout short. Number 4, don't forget your electrolytes. When we sweat, we lose essential minerals through our sweat, things like sodium, chloride, potassium, magnesium, and calcium. So try to plan on putting electrolyte tablets in your water, or opt for a sports drink with electrolytes if you're going to be out in hot weather. So if you are going to go with the sports drink route, look for low sugar options. I am a big fan myself of Tailwind, and I use a lot of Element. It depends on whether I'm feeling sweet or salty, but I always make sure that I have both water and electrolytes handy when I'm going out on a longer run. Number 5, avoid the peak heat hours. So try to avoid running when the sun is at its peak, which is usually between 11 and 2. Run in the early morning or later in the evening to avoid the hottest time of the day. Usually most people are going to run in the early morning as much as possible, because even after sundown, a lot of that heat can still stay around. If your only option is to run in the heat and humidity, then you may need to adjust your training program. This may mean cutting your longer runs short, rescheduling your speed workouts, or just doing shorter runs in general. Number 6, Stick to the shade as much as possible. If you have to run when it's sunny, try to stay in shady areas. Run near water, by trees, or in shade from buildings to help diffuse some of the heat. Try to avoid blacktop and cement as much as you can, as it will hold more heat. Now, of course, if you are running in an urban environment, then avoiding concrete may not be possible for you, so sometimes running in the shade of buildings is the best you can do. If you can't avoid the sun, make sure you wear a hat, sunglasses, and sunscreen to shield against harmful UV rays. I'll have a link up here and down in the description for a video I did just last week about what runners need to know about wearing sunscreen. Number 7, run with a partner. If you're running in extreme heat, it is really easy for things to go downhill quickly, especially if you are by yourself. So run with a friend to establish a buddy system for staying hydrated and keeping tabs on each other. If one of you starts to have heat-related symptoms, then you'll notice and be able to help each other out before things get really bad. If you have no choice but to run alone, then make sure that you are sharing your location, especially if you are running in the heat and humidity. You can use apps like Strava to share your location with a trusted contact, or you can use a safety app like Road ID to share your location. If you use iPhone, then you can use Find My Friends. But let someone know when you're running and where you're running so that they can have an approximate idea of where you are and when you'll be back. So if you're not back by that certain time, they can contact someone if there's a problem. Number 8, keep tabs of your medication and your alcohol consumption. You need to limit your alcohol intake during periods of high heat, and you need to be aware of your medications and their effects on your hydration. Alcohol, antihistamines, and antidepressants a lot of times will have dehydrating effects. If possible, don't consume dehydrating medications right before your run. You can still take your prescription medications, but you need to talk with your doctor about any heat-related risks and how to mitigate those. Number 9, consider your age. Heat is going to affect you more the older you get. Your sweat glands become less efficient as you age. More than 80% of the estimated 12,000 people in the U.S. who die of heat-related causes are over the age of 60, according to Climate Central. So if you're at an increased risk of heat illness based on your age, please talk with your doctor about when it would be too hot for you to exercise outside, and always err on the side of caution. Number 10, become aware of the signs of heat illness. Signs of heat exhaustion and heat stroke include things like heavy sweating, cold, pale, and clammy skin, a fast, weak pulse, nausea, vomiting, muscle cramps, tiredness, weakness, dizziness, headaches, and fainting. If you are experiencing any of these symptoms, then move as fast as you can to a cool, dry place. Drink water or a sports drink and put some cool wet cloths on your body, or take a cool bath. Signs of heat stroke include the same symptoms of heat exhaustion, but more intense with a higher body temperature, usually over 103, and confusion and losing consciousness. You need to call 911 for immediate assistance if you or someone that you're with is experiencing a heat stroke. So there you go. Those are 10 things that runners and walkers need to know about exercising in warm weather. So, like I said, if you are getting ready for a fall marathon, you may not have any choice but to run through the summer, and I hope that these can help prepare you for some of the things that you may encounter over your training period. Did you find this informative or helpful? Why don't you let me know down in the comments below? Don't forget that you can subscribe to the channel. Just click that subscribe button down below. It doesn't cost you a thing, and it keeps you up to date on all the running content that I have coming out all the time. Don't forget, you can also follow me on social media. All the links are down in the description. You can find me across all platforms under the name Running Geek Girl. Thank you so much for being here. I'm so glad you could join me. Remember to laugh hard, run fast, and be kind. I'll see you later.